Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I've got some Gameweek 24, I think, Sorare NBA lineups early and out ahead of sort of the deadline, way before the deadline, to show you some of the plays that I think are really beneficial this week. I also just show you my lineups, and I've also got a tier 1 card pool thing to open because I think we came 15th or 16th last week. Enough jibber jabber, let's get on with it. Right then, so they've changed the way in which you can open rewards now, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it just says 1-star rewards. It's not even a tier 1; it's a star that we've got to open up here. But I think as soon as I click this, it now opens. It's not the thing before where you had them all set and you can go one by one. It's a little bit different. So we'll click reveal, star, center, American for the Cavs. That Evan Mobley, star signing. Are we sure about that one? I do have a Cavs collection, actually, so this does work. If I go through here, go through the tunnel now, that's going to show me. Are we back into it? Yeah. Collections. Where are we at? Oh, wow, this is really slow, isn't it? This is fantastic stuff. Cavs here, 4 cards, because we wanted Donovan Mitchell as well. So the Cavs collection's coming on quite nicely. Always beneficial to grab some of them. Before I do go into my lineups, though, I am, of course, going to be using top-tier projections. Now, I use this every single week. I have done now for all of Season 3. I use it for Season 2 as well, and it helps me win rewards just like that Tier 1 or Star Evan Mobley that we just got. I can get ahead of every single game week without having to sort of stress about who I'm going to have as we go into the lock. I can go on here days before the lock and go on and see who are the top projected players based off of the cap that they've been set for this week. I don't always use the projections that are said, but I'll always use them as a rough guide. If I have someone that I think is a little bit better than what is being said on the screen, of course, I'm going to go with my own gut opinion. But if you're in a hurry, you can also use the lineup builders that they've got right here. You can click run, and it will spit out 5 guys for champion, for contender, for underdog, or for the special game modes that, of course, we do get every now and then on Sorare as well. So it's just a really fantastic tool if you're looking to get a little bit of an edge on the competition. Also, right now, if you use the link in my description right now, you can get 10% off for the rest of the season. It's a fantastic tool. If you play Sorare NBA, you should use top-tier projections. In any case, let's get back to my lineups. Now, with the pro stuff that we've got currently going on, all of my lineups for the minute are not doing too bad. Tier 4s, the boxes are everywhere. Tier 2 right there, top 100. Rare stuff, another box that we've got there. Potentially some decent finishes. And then we're 18th in Super Rare Champion right now. Of course, that probably won't hold because I suspect that unless Tyus Jones goes big in the next 2 games, you never know. But moving into Game Week 24. Now, I don't know if you, again, I still don't think many people are doing this. If you're not doing it, do it, because it's the easiest boxes and potentially cards that you can win of the whole thing. Your leftover cards that you have that you're not using in your lineups, if you've got those guys that are in the 40 to 50 range or the 30 to 40 range, that are just a little bit awkward to fit in with the rest of the stuff that you've got in terms of your lineups, play them in the common champion and common contender. You pick 1 contender card, so you can pick the smash guy that you think is going to go well. I'll normally pick someone of a low L10 that I'm not going to go out and buy more cards of, that I'll just use. So, for example, Cole Anthony this week. And then you can fill up the rest of the lineup. So I have 2 Giannis's. I'm only using 1 of them in my champion stuff. So, of course, I'll throw him in this. Embiid, for example. I've got some other low-cap guys that I wasn't going to use. It means I can throw Embiid in and be using a lineup where I might win a pro card from it. So there's just little things like that that's going around it. In any case, as you can see, I'm not fully, but I am now not towing, but a foot into the water in terms of in-season stuff. So we've got 2 limited champion lineups, a limited contender and a limited underdog. Don't get me wrong. That limited contender and limited underdog, I'm not expecting to go out and win a big star card. But I am expected to sort of potentially bring a box home. And from all of those, as you can see, I've got 30 lineups here at the moment. If I can try and average a box from 1 of 2 and pick 15 up each week, the essence will slowly grow and grow and grow. As you will have seen from the tier 1 box the tier 1 essence that we crafted. But all of this stuff, I've had a couple of bits of cash from the limited champion side. You can easily pick up $5, $10, $20 each week. And then, of course, if one of them goes a little bit nuclear, then you can get a little bit more. But, of course, Nikola Jokic is the guy that I'm having in my MVP for the limited champion side. I'm always going to use him in this version because the cash rewards are there. And if you have the in-season cards, even if you can get a higher score on the classic champion, put them in season. Try and get those cash rewards. It's always more beneficial that way. We're going to run him out with D'Angelo Russell. Cameron Johnson is meant to be back for the slate. DeJounte Murray's been balling out. I mean, I know Zion will probably be back, but I'm still going to go with him for that. And then Kyle Kuzma, his L10 is like 21. So it's a no-brainer in that sense. The other side of things as well, a little bit more of a scrape together because the Bradley Beal situation is a little bit unclear, but going to run with Anthony Davis as MVP. Jamal Murray, I think his cap is around a point where it's not too high in the 40s where I'll play him and I'll feel fine for it as well. And then, like I said, contender. This one here potentially has scope. Torian Prince and Gary Trent Jr. can get decently high 20 scores. Same thing with Karis LeVert. He can go into the 30s. And then Sabonis is just sort of a 40, 50 point churning machine. He'll always go around that mark. Then we scroll into the classic side of things on limited. I haven't done my underdog stuff. I normally don't really worry about the underdog until sort of the last few moments of the game week lock. I'll just throw some cards together in there. Of course, you can prioritize an underdog lineup because a lot of people will just prioritize champion and contender. But underdog for me is sort of the sense on underdog is if there's someone that's such a good L10 that's low enough, I'm going to put them in a champion or contender. So it's just a scrape together lineup for me in terms of where I'm at for it. We're targeting the Celtics guys this week on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the main one. James Harden does only have one game, but it is against the Hornets, and his L10 is 29. So I think it's a great play this week if you've got a James Harden. And then J-Dub and Lou Dort as well for the Thunder. Both got 2 games, both got nice L10s. I think as well, from the rest of this stuff here, I like this contender lineup. I think Cole Anthony, again, I think he's 16 or 18 at an L10. Kyle Kuzma, we've already spoken about. At 21, I think he's a no-brainer play. Patrick Williams at 21 as well in that starting role for the Bulls. I think he's really nice. His upside is quite good. And for 21, it's a decent cap. And then Keegan Murray hasn't really been playing too well for the Kings this year. His cap's fallen to 24, been in and out of the starting lineup as they've been rotating and sort of trying new things. And then obviously had the coach sacked. But I think at 24, I think he's kind of a really good play alongside a Porzingis in the low 30s. And then, like I said, haven't filled out the underdog ones. And then contender, something I always try with limited contender is, like I said, I'll have sort of a few guys that I think are around that low 20 mark that are a nice L10, Brook Lopez, Patrick Williams, Cole Anthony. And then I'll try and throw someone in there that's really low to bring that L10 down, so then I can have a sort of potential MVP-esque like guy. Like Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's around a 42 L10, and Jet Howard's an 8. And now they've got 2 games in which the Magic's injuries have been brutal, and if they ever get blown out, or if they have a blowout lead, he gets serious minutes, and he can put up a decent score. Like I think I can't show you here, he dropped 30 on Sorare the week back, and he's got an L10 of like 6. So he's always one of those potential guys that can lift the lineup from getting a sort of tier 4 card to a tier 2, tier 1 card. Now, in season rare, so I haven't gone for the MVP, I haven't gone for the champion style of rare yet. I am just sticking to contender because at the minute as well, it's really nice to sort of flesh out some in-season cards that I'm slowly acquiring without going full on the MVP, and also can start winning the good boxes. Like I had a 20 super rare essence out of one of these 4-star boxes from here. So again, even though you're not getting cash rewards or card rewards from these, the box stuff will slowly accumulate and accrue, and then you can get it into something beneficial to craft with. Now, I know it says Cam Johnson's out. I think by the time these games go ahead, that should be changed. I think he missed this 3-game road trip that they're on due to precautions. I think he's going to be back for these 2 games here on the weekend. Nick Claxton's L10 is like 22. It's silly low. Like, as you can see, I was slowly chipping away at a Brooklyn like gallery, and like the way, and of course, I'm not suggesting this is how you can go ahead and attack things, but when I started moving into in-season rare, I'd pick up a card or 2 that I thought, okay, yeah, they've got really nice sort of low L10s, and then from there, you can every week, if someone has an L10 that would be of value, you can think about going and acquiring that guy over someone else to build up the collection score. Because of course, these cards will, I will not sell these Brooklyn cards all year probably. And then as we go into next season, I'll then have a banked amount of XP on top of the collection score that I'm going to get from them. I've also been slowly chipping away at a bit of a Golden State one as well. Probably not the 2 teams that are the smartest to do, considering when we go into the playoffs, probably not going to have much use. But I think for the time being in rare contender, that again, these are cards that I want to play and I think have the best L10 values each week, so on and so forth. So again, very similar in rare contender, like I said, with the Tyrese Halliburton one up there. I'm doing it in the sense of that I'm playing a Moses Moody alongside a Keon Ellis, especially with De'Aaron Fox's issues at the minute. And then that allows me to go and play sort of a big hitter like a Devin Booker in that 40 mark, where I wouldn't play him in my classic red champions, but I can play him in these contending lineups as well. Yes, that is Ben Simmons. And no, I don't want to talk about it. We go into Rare Champion then. The main lineup that I've got for this one, Najee Marshall's been moved into that starting core over in Dallas at a 17 out of 10. I think he's a bit of a no-brainer to play if you have one of him, maybe in a rare contender as well, because obviously it is Najee Marshall still, like, at the end of the day. But I think at 17, I'm happy to play him, even though he's got one game in there, and try and fully hit the ceiling of this lineup. Giannis is a no-brainer as an MVP. Jaylen Brown, again, like I've mentioned, he's in my other champion lineup. And then Jalen Suggs and PG. And I think Joel Embiid probably won't play one of these games. Paul George's RAs are just sort of off the charts at the moment in terms of when he doesn't play with Joel Embiid. So I like that very much. And then on the alternate side, again, Anthony Edwards has only got one game, but he dropped like a 75-point score the other day. D'Angelo Russell back in Brooklyn, he's been balling out. Patrick Williams, like I've mentioned on already. And then Anthony Davis, just because he's my other sort of main rare MVP until I pick someone else up for in season. And then rare contender again. I think Josh Okogie's one to look out for this week, because if Bradley Beal does get the trade that's sort of being flirted around without the league, unless they bring in a direct replacement that starts immediately, which tends not to happen, I think Josh Okogie will get a bump in his minutes, and he's at an L10 of about 12 at the moment, I think. Might be 13. So if that happens, he's going to have a beneficial... His minutes will go right up in terms of what he's getting. And we've seen with Josh Okogie, when he does get decent minutes, he can produce well in terms of Sorare scoring and fantasy scoring. So no-brainer pick there. And again, like Chris Middleton, 25 L10, Caleb Martin, 19 L10. If PG sits a game, he'll boost. So I think there's a few sort of plays to go around with on there. Same as Sam Hauser. The Celtics have got 2 games. If they blow any team out, Sam Hauser's minutes will go right up. Or if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown sits, Sam Hauser's been moved into that starting lineup. Rare underdog not touched. And then super rare. So, like I've said before, we've been sort of chipping away at the super rare stuff and building it up. I am yet to go out and buy that fully fledged MVP. I really want to go into the in-season super rare stuff. It just isn't that appealing. It really isn't. Like the super rare stuff for me, I'm quite content at the minute with playing in Contender, putting out my lineups in a champion and a contender each week, seeing if we can get into that box range in that 25%. And if not, then we're going to be targeting to try and sneak into those card rewards. But again, it's just so hard to win in Classic on super rare. Like, even if I go out and get fully fledged MVPs, don't get me wrong, Kevin Durant and De'Aaron Fox are probably in that sort of B tier of your MVPs. They're not the A-star caliber ones. Maybe an A for Kevin Durant when he's on form. But again, with these, I've got decent sort of cards to support them, but it's so hard to win in these ones. But this lineup I'm not too mad at. I think Clint Capella, obviously going back to his former club, I always have sort of a little bit of a boost on the projection if someone is going back to their former club. And then these guys have all got 2 games. And if Keon Ellis has any games without De'Aaron Fox, we've already seen this year what he can do. So that's going to do that there. Obviously, I think Evan Mobley is a star. I don't know if he was a star card per se. If we go back to when I won him, actually, I mean, I am interested to see if they classified that as a star. Yeah, it was a star. No. Yeah, star. 3-star and a 3-star box and a star card. Who was in the pool? That's what I mean. Like, Evan Mobley's there. Mark Williams in the star. I'm not even showing you, mate. Mark Williams in the star category. We've got Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden. They're all sort of ones you'd expect. But Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Mark Williams, that's... And like when you look, like there's 340 Wembys, 334 Jokic's, and yet 303 Jared Allens, and so on and so forth. I feel like he should be a tier 1, but the thing is a little bit messed up in terms of how they're giving the cards out. But in any case, that's going to do that one there, I think. Is there anything else I wanted to touch on? I'm not sure there is. I'm going to try and get a few more lives out, obviously, as we're moving into sort of this period now where we've had the Christmas competitions and we've gone through some of the newest stuff that we've seen. I'd like to see an announcement soon of sort of, here's the next chase that we're going to do, like a month-long thing, or here's the next special competition. Because the daily stuff, don't get me wrong, the daily stuff is fun. But again, unless they start putting in card rewards at very small percentages in those boxes, again, it's sort of just like a standard. Yeah, it's fun. It keeps me engaged on it. But it's not like, oh, crap, here I'm really excited to get involved in these. But yeah, I'd like to see some sort of announcement of like what the next big thing's going to be in February or something like that, just so we can start sort of churning and aiming towards something. It's always nice to look forward to something, is what I'll say there. But thank you very much for watching this video. I think I'll try and do some more early sort of stuff and early predictions and things like that of players L10s that I want to get involved in and want to get into my lineups going into the week that's coming, and try, because I think there's a lot of stuff towards the back end for it, but if I can get them out early, it would be helpful for you guys. It would also be helpful for me in terms of trying to plan some stuff out. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Please do consider dropping a subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below if ever Mobley was a star or not, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.